tried leaving behind the memories, the love, all of it. After you stood up for the captain and fought for them, they gave up the fight and left you to clean up after them. For that, and for giving up on themselves, you've never forgiven them. But the captain has need of you, and this is your chance to prove you still have life left in your old bones. You are more than your bitterness and heartbreak. And though the captain sees you for who you were at your prime, the others see a legend whose time is done. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but damn if you're giving up. Will you prove that you earned your reputation for good reason, or will your hidden bitterness consume you?
The planet is very nondescript. It's very far-flung. Just a little rock around a little yellow star. And it's mostly just grasslands and desert and plateau. And you knew about it just from digging through records. And you knew that the company that had originally wanted to, build it up had gone under. And so nobody was really doing anything with this planet. It had a few residents, but mostly off-the-grid folks. So it was a perfect place for a hideout. And so built into kind of a really rocky outcropping is one of our old hideouts. And all down the sides of it now, what had just been nondescript red rock are hanging gardens and just all sorts of fruit and veggies and plants. And down on the ground, there's nice, neat rows of space corn and other vegetables. Someone has been living here, and someone has been gardening. And we see Ram. She uses she, her pronouns. She appears, at first glance, like a human, like a largely built human. But as you get closer, you see she's made of wood and plant fibers. She's not a human at all. She is a karazu, which are a alien species of plant folk. And she's 6'5". She's very muscular. She's very thick limbs, thick neck, square face. And she has long tendrils of leaves, almost like pothos plants, in a really thick braid going all the way down her back. And over that, she's wearing a wide-brimmed hat made out of thick slats of straw, but they're very thick. It's a very well-made, sturdy-looking straw hat. And she's working away. She's working in the ground. She's got a shovel. And she's wearing what was once maybe a flight suit, but it has been very much mended and patched together. And she has the top of it undone and tied around her waist, and just sweat on her green arms and dirt. And she's working, what she's been doing every day.
I think Helena waits to approach until she's back inside, inside the hideout. You take a break, you go inside, you sit down, and you hear the sound of footsteps. And they're familiar, and in this moment, you flash back to the time we spent together on the ship when you served as my bodyguard. And what is a place on the ship that you think you and I would have spent the most time together?
I never liked the ships. They're too sterile. There's too much metal. They're too cold. I was never comfortable on the ships. So even the smallest ships have some kind of living greenery. because people in space tend to go a little loony if they don't have some kind of living plants. That's been studied. So I think our ship did have just the tiniest little built-in.
Oh, we absolutely have a hydroponic garden. Daxton sends times there too.
Yes, we have the hydroponic garden, we have the solar lamps, and I'm photosynthetic and have to absorb sunlight to stay healthy anyway. So I'm usually in there meditating, reading. I read the same books over and over again just because I find it comforting. And so I'm probably in the green room, in the garden, air quotes garden.
Yeah. I think originally there was only one smaller space for the hydroponic gardening, and that might be the one that Daxton spends a lot of time in. When you were assigned to protect Helena and serve on this ship, she arranged to have an additional space built. Because it's both good to have more food and more places for people to go, and also so you could just have a place to be by yourself, because we've known each other for so long, and I know you get really cranky if people bother you while you're soaking in your sunshine.
Yes. And I don't think I ever directly thanked you for that, but I did start growing certain fruits and veggies, and I wouldn't let anyone else have them. And then you would find little boxes of fresh fruit in your quarters.
Yeah, and I think occasionally you would find we would stop somewhere and then you would go into your quarters and there's a pack of seeds.
Ugh. Bag of fresh dirt. Ugh.
Yeah. Helena knows the importance of you take care of people. She tries to take care of everyone. Doesn't always work out, but so as we're in this hideout, as you have this flash, I have a question for you. How does your age and past show? Why do you look so different from what I remember?
You remember the very professional version of me. I was working for Mr. Vale, had been working for him for a long time, was assigned to watch you and assist you. So I didn't really have hair. I kept my hair, my vines trimmed, because if we were going into any kind of combat, that is a
safety concern.
It's a safety concern. And I was always dressed simply but neatly. Even with all my gardening, I'm very clean. And just always just seemed to be prepared. So this version of me with I'm covered in sweat, I'm covered in dirt, I'm wearing just a patchwork, basically, overalls, coveralls. You've never seen me look this disheveled, but I'm greener than I used to be. I'm almost healthier because I have not been on spaceships with just, rare jaunts onto planets. I have been under the sun. I have been touching the earth. And that's been good for me.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So I ask you, why do you look so much older than I remember? And what of the old you still shines through brightly?
I think the old Helena, she came from money. There might have been unique expectations that came with that, but she was always kept in good health, took good care of herself, maintained this sort of aura or persona that fits with being part of the Vale family and being, not only that, but being the daughter of Jasper Vale. She looks older now. Maybe she's not been taking as good care of herself, but not to the point where she's been neglecting herself, just she hasn't been pampering herself or anything. She's potentially been living off the grid in a way herself. She doesn't look like she's had access to the same amount of money. She's taking care of herself all right, but also She's a little thinner. Her clothing isn't as nice, although she still dresses clean and wants to look good, and there is a bit of a haunted look in her eyes. It's never gonna go away after she had to make the call that she did. But as you turn to see her, you also know she still has some of the same posture as she walks, and the way her eyes dart around and scan the area, collecting information on how the hideout is different, how it's the same, and if there's any other people here, and gauging your reaction. That's still very much, there's no doubt this is absolutely Helena. So for conducting the visit, one of us can't help it. An angry demand breaks through the tension as you see me, and I say, "Hello, old friend. Looks like you're doing well for yourself."
And I'm sitting at my little ramshackle table with my back to you. And I had heard you walk all the way up. And you say that. And I say, "Helena Vale, you have some nerve." And I stand up.
I'm probably a good, 6 inches shorter than you.
And I'm much wider than you.
Mm-hmm.
Always have been. And I don't turn around. And I say, "I give you one chance to turn around and walk away."
You know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important.
"Oh, it's important." And I turn around and I see you. "Now is important. Sons and sons and sons later is important now."
It's starting to wake up again. I've been watching it. I think I have a way to stop it permanently this time. I know I can't undo anything that I've done, but I can end this.
I kind of stand there and stare at you. And I say, "Do you want tea? I make tea."
Helga just relaxes a little bit. She had been kind of braced up because she's like, I deserve it, but also I would rather not have to immediately go to the hospital. If there's a second chair at the table, she'll sit, trying to not look too comfortable.
I have not changed anything since this was the hideout. Everything's still ramshackle. There's just way more dried plants hanging on the walls and baskets of preserves and stuff. And I turn and I start making some tea. And I say, when I leave home as girl, learn very quick. Everyone else believe in ghosts. Say, spirits live on without body. Nonsense. If on home, just are born again, bloom again, grow again, is the cycle. But, and I pour a cup of tea, also learned it's best to feed ghosts, just in case.
She takes the tea and nods. I had to be a ghost. You know, it doesn't bode well to go against Father's wishes, especially when he's aware that you did so. Which I think is the first time you've had any hint that she did something he didn't approve of. Because I think he knew some about what we were doing, and he was quote-unquote helping, but then things went wrong, and I just disappeared.
I look you up and down a bit at that, and I sit, and I just slam my cup of tea, just one go. And I say, "You are not smart, girl. No, you come hunting my house after all this time. Because you think you have an answer. You said you had an answer the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. And you say, "Oh, I am ghost because of Papa. I have been here, living in rocks, digging in sandy dirt. No trees, no breeze, barely rains. Because I also know what your father would do if he knew I was alive and you were a ghost."
The thing he provided me with, that he said his experts believed could be used to destroy the thing that makes the enemy strong. I don't think he expected me to look too closely at it, but I did. It was a device he could use to control it. I sabotaged it to where I catch them all in a never catch the Central Intelligence into a loop of failing to load information. And the information it was trying to load is worthless. Thought at the very least it would buy us time to find another solution. But I didn't realize the swarm could operate independently if it needed to. So we had to run.
I'm looking at my empty teacup.
I slide you my tea. I don't think I think I've like taken a sip, but...
And you had all this, and you did not tell us.
I didn't realize until it was close to the end. And I didn't want to push you in additional danger. If things went wrong, which granted they did, just not in the way I thought they would, if he thought you knew something, you would be in danger. But if he thought you didn't know, I figured he might leave you alone. I figured it was best for everyone if I just disappeared.
And do you think me losing Mr. Vale's daughter also does not put me in danger? But you said he gave you the means to stop it, but he lied. That sounds like Mr. Vale. The Mr. Vale I know. And then you, keeping this to yourself to protect us? That does sound like the Miss Vale I know, who is not smart girl.
She doesn't protest that. I have Daxton and Johan back on the ship.
And I look up at that. We watched your pod sail away. And I thought, no, not my Miss Vale. And I tell the others, she's alive. She lives. Daxton did not want to believe it. Johan did not want, at first, to believe. I knew that you were alive. Or at least hope. So, you have Daxton, you have Johan, and now you come to Ram.
I did procrastinate a little bit because I was sure you were going to punch me.
Still might. Thinking it over.
That's deserved.
I am grow soft in my old age, and I get up to put the teacups away, and the light shifts through the little window carved through the stone wall, and it lands on a very large curved blade that is stored neatly with all of the other gardening tools on a rack built into the wall. And I look over. I haven't used it in years. I haven't needed it, but I've kept it sharp and I've kept it safe. And I reach over, but instead I grab the really thick handle of a utility tool, and I can connect any kind of implement to the end of it for different farm work, but I grab the stick and I turn around, and without saying anything, I toss it to you very hard.
Yeah, and I think just instinct, I catch it and it's muscle memory before my brain catches up with what's going on.
And then I reach and pick up another one, and I say, You think you have answer this time? You think you're ready this time? Prove it.
As you square up against me, I stand up with the weapon you toss me in one hand. I have my cane and I kind of like fling it back, almost like if you're trying to like fling water off of something. Part of it like just like shoots off, and it's like I have a dagger about the length of my arm that was in the handle of the cane, and I hold that in sort of like a defensive position.
Not in the kitchen! Outside! Who raised you? Go!
She just laughs at that.
I'm like banging the staff on the ground. I'm like, go! Outside.
I do, and how long do you think we sort of spar?
I think we go out and it's like a rocky outcropping overhang that's just kind of cleared. And there's like barrels of water and just things growing around the edges, but this part's mostly clear. I definitely feel I have something to prove. So we go at it with stabs and your knife.
Yeah, but I don't try and stab you with the knife. That's more of for defense, because I know you can beat the shit out of me.
And I think I do go pretty hard on you. And even having just been a farmer and not in active combat training, I'm still much older and much more seasoned than you. So after a while, I think I do just knock you with the staff and you fall down.
Helena does keep going in the fight until you're ready to call it quits, or until she gets the feeling from you that you're ready for her to surrender.
And I think you're on the ground and we're both just winded. And I've got the staff like at you, and I spin it to my side and I say, "Impressive for Ghost." And then I hold my hand out to you.
I take your hand. Well, back when I was alive, I had the best teacher that could ever be. I guess for ending the visit, what makes you still doubt me?
I doubt you because the last time we went into this, we went into it full force, at our best, with a full crew, fully supplied, prepared, and we failed. And now we're going into it with the 3 survivors all these years later, and you. But I can't let you go alone.
And this is the only real way to get your honor back, so you can finally go home.
And I think I pull you up and I just hold your hand for a moment, and then I let go and I say, "Still saving punch for you."
Understood. I've got the ship. About hour, 2 hours walk that way, points in a direction. Take the time you need to get things settled.
What makes you worry for me?
Helena will probably never admit that she's worried for you, because I feel like that would be insulting or offensive to you. But she worries because she knows how far you will have to go to get your honor back. She's worried you'll sacrifice yourself for her. She's worried that you will be the one to pay the price for her mistake. And now for the question. White or black?
Black.
Which is black. Loyalty is regained.
Loyalty regained!
Why do we want to believe in each other?
I have to believe in you, because I already gave up everything the first time around. When we didn't succeed, and then I didn't bring you home, I had nothing. I could never go back to working for Mr. Vale. I couldn't go back to my home planet because of such a failure of my duty. And the only thing I could think to do was come to this rock to hide in, because I had nowhere else to go. And so I have to believe you, because this is my only chance, because I have to make this right somehow, or I have no future. My future is just living in a rocky outcrop gardening.
Helena, why she believes in you, especially going into this, is we are both attempting to right a wrong, to fix a mistake. And I want to see you able to go home. I want to see you able to have some kind of happy ending after everything you've done for me. And I also want to see a day when this job is finally done. Because you get your honor, maybe I'll get a chance to at least look like a hero, even if I never feel like one.
And I think from up here on the closer to the hideout, you look down on all my farmland that I've created, and I haven't changed anything about the inside of the hideout, but you can now see I have planted everything in very specific shapes and lines and spirals, and you know those are the shapes of my homeworld. That's what our art looks like.
Yeah, so how long does it take for Ram to get all of her stuff together and affairs in order to join the crew? Because I imagine you probably have like a couple of people that you know on the planet that maybe you trade with so you can have someone help take care of the garden.
Yeah, I trade and sell. I have a trunk I haven't opened in years, and it's got my armor and my uniform in it. So I get those out, and I wash those teacups and hang them back up. And I don't own much, because I don't need much. So it doesn't take that long. I think I make like I have like a hand crank communicator, like an old clunky like radio equivalent. And I have to crank it up and wait for one of my contacts to answer. And I don't tell them, I'm just like, I'm going for a while. Come take whatever you want. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah. I don't elaborate on anything. And they're days away, so it will take them time to get here anyway. But they can have whatever they want. And I come out and I'm holding my hat. And I have my bag. And I have the big curved blade, and the handle on that's really short, almost like a hand blade. And the last thing I do, I walk out and the sun is starting to set, and I look over my fields and I say, did good work. And now we finish the work. And I pull the base of my long green braid and I cut it. And I cut it off.
Oh, yes. When you get to the ship, which there are a lot of similarities between the ship we originally traveled on and the one that I'm currently on, except for this one's a lot smaller. But you do find that there is like a gardening hydroponics bay, including one where it's almost, I almost picture like one of those like vegetable gardens on the ground.
Yes.
So you can like actually like get your feet in the dirt.
Yes.
And when you go into your quarters, there's a projection you can put on the wall that is like a picture of your garden. And maybe also like there's also some images from your home, but I have it set to your garden.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our crew.